Are you a dancer, Jack? No, not so much.
No, you don't want me to dance.
No dancing for you? Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Noon 21 on Tuesday. I'm here with two super special guests today. Everyone in the food world of San Diego knows the first one, Jack Ford. Welcome today.
Hi there.
And you've brought a little baby friend today, known as Olive, but on this special occasion has been renamed Vinnie for Venissimo. Thank you, Jack, and welcome. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
This
Great
is
to be
so
here.
good. It's so good to see you, and it's so neat to have this little gal with us
One
today.
of our ambassadors here.
Ambassador, tell me about her.
She is a 12-week-old Saanen doe. She's a little girl goat, and she's going to grow up and make beautiful milk, in which
Yeah.
will turn into cheeses and
Such as
share
these?
with people and help educate
Yeah.
our beautiful San Diego County.
All about it. How long before she will start making milk that you will use for that? How long does it take with a goat?
It'll be probably about 15, 18 months
Yeah,
before
okay.
she'll have to have a baby, and then they'll get the milk first, and then once they're done with it, then we get it and we turn it into great cheeses.
And great cheeses. And in the meantime, she gets to, like you said, tour around the city,
Yeah,
meet everyone.
We were just talking about how a lot of the goats on our farm have been kind of going to A-list parties for about the last 5 years. They've been making the rounds. Yeah.
Better invites than us.
Yeah, exactly. Whether it's from La Jolla to South Park, downtown, all over. So a lot of the chefs have gotten friendly with them as well.
With her. Oh, that's just really super. Let's start, though, Jack, with you, because I've known you for a few years now, in passing, because you are just such a name in San Diego farm community, San Diego cheese community. Where did this all begin? Tell us about who is Jack Ford.
I'm still kind of wondering that myself. But with the farming it's a second career for me.
Okay.
And we had some life-changing events in our family, and it started with my dad.
Yeah.
And kind of everything that was old was new again for us, and he had a medical event, and so we just started raising food for ourselves and our family and our neighbor, and it just kind of grew and grew from there, and that's where this came about. And I grew up on kind of what you call a gentleman's farm, and it just kind of, we took it to the next level, and we've always enjoyed food and travel and history and culture, and it kind of all came together. For us in this instance.
When you started with food, did you start just like with plants? Like, were you growing fruits and vegetables, say? Or did you always do with animals?
Oh, animals were always a part of it. Chickens, goats, pigs, the smaller ruminants from there. So.
And went from there. Yeah. And you brought today beautiful spread of cheeses. Correct. Did the cheese come after because you had all the milk? Is it just kind of the natural progression when you are on a farm?
From raising livestock and poultry and harvesting animals, it kind of became this cleanse. You didn't really know what was happening until afterwards. You look at it and you think, and it's kind of what I've also learned is that goats and cheese is a great portal to open up conversations with people about what food should be and how we should be eating without being preachy. It's a really natural, everybody wants to sit here and hold Vinnie or taste some beautiful cheeses or learn about them. And so we're trying to be inspiring. These are two great ways to do it.
Yeah, I love that term that you're not trying to preach, but you want to be the ambassador. You want to promote.
We want to try and get people as to think about getting as close to the source as possible. We preach local. What we do preach is local.
Yeah.
And we want people to look for relationships and not labels. And it's important to have those relationships because you need those patterns. Farmers need those patterns. And not just it's not a whimsy, and that food is not a product or a thing, but it's a direct relationship with Mother Nature.
Yeah, and I think that's what you advocate the most, and which is so interesting to see and learn, is you see where the milk comes from that goes in to make something like this, that then gets to a shelf like Venissimo's, and then into your kitchen.
Exactly.
Versus just something that you just pulled off the shelf. Who knows where that came from and how it was put together.
Yeah, it's all part of a biodynamic. It's we're trying to everyone's trying to do a great job about reducing their footprints, and we try and do that same on the farm where we create a mosaic, monoculture. With that, and these are all everybody kind of has a job.
Sure, sure. Their contribution,
Exactly.
right, to the community. How long was this? I think this is so interesting. You're living a dream that I think so many people have to leave. Maybe it's a corporate job, or maybe it's that lifestyle, and you're living something that's very romantic and Renaissance. Tell us the good and the bad about what you do.
It can be on anything can be romantic on Facebook or Instagram. The and you know if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
But I will tell you though that I think the thing that Mother Nature can be really tough. She's a tough teacher, a tough editor, and you never know what she has around the corner for you. Or we'd probably never walk around the corner. But to get to still learn every day and be a part, and kind of growing up, we were always taught, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. He wants us to listen more than talk. And just by watching animals and behaving naturally without any intervention and stuff, we learn so much about ourselves. Or it really kind of gives us, a different perspective on our lives. These are not things that there's an app for you can download. Yeah. It's a real live, you have to be on the ground experiencing.
And learning. Is that how you did it? I mean, you didn't know everything about any of this when you started.
I ate a lot of cheese, which does not make you an expert about making cheese.
No.
But it's really, I started to kind of think about it, and they've been making cheese for a long time, long before they understood. They thought the world was flat, and all sorts of, basic things like kind of a Game of Thrones. There was cheese there. But it was just, so I just started with the very basics. And you just make a lot and you learn a lot from that. And, cheese is basically, it's a fight between good and evil. And when the good bacteria wins, which is 99.9% of the time, you get cheese. If it doesn't, then you've made a mess, and that goes down the drain, and you start again. Yeah. But it's like it's one thing I think is important with teaching people and getting them connected with food is to kind of demystify like what all of these things are. And it's we really love talking about the French paradox, or the lactic acid. Diet where you have a healthy gut and you can eat these good fatty things, but it's in moderation, and it's actually good. Cheese is just milk for grown-ups. It becomes like so many things that you ferment. It becomes value added. It actually becomes better for you. It's like taking what Mother Nature gave you out there and blowing it up and making a big photocopy of it. And that's much healthier for you.
Yeah, isn't that so good? Yeah. Milk's leap to immortality.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
No truer words were said.
Right.
Because on the farm, as we were talking kind of earlier, milk goes bad quick.
Very quick.
Not everybody has refrigeration, the capabilities we do. And even with that, it goes bad quick.
Yeah.
So what do you do with it?
It's the perfect catalyst for all sorts of things.
Dreamy.
It has to get chilled down very quickly to negate that. So and it's it's been learned, and this is our milk program. And we work a lot with Very Good Food Foundation is all set up for making cheese, yogurt, etc. Yeah. And we've been doing this project for about 4 years now. And on an education level, we share this milk with like Queso Diego, who's a local cheese-making club. And as Kurt always says, they've gone from a cheese-eating club now to a cheese-making club.
Yes, which is super
cool.
And
what's really, I think, the thing that is so great is where we've done this now, and milk is shared for them with an education, and then they make these beautiful cheeses, and then we share them at fundraising and charity events as part of the experience of people going to these events and raising money. And it's that whole pay it forward system. And it's really, it's unique. I don't think there's anything else like it going around in the country right now. And
I haven't heard it. It's really great, and that you're so close and that it's possible here.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get that question, I think. A lot of people are going to ask, so where can I get this milk? Why can't I get this milk? Tell us about that.
Well, it's, you kind of, like, as we said, get as close to the source as possible. There's plenty of people in San Diego and different avenues. It's not a retail thing, and there's a lot of bureaucracy and restrictions.
So someone can't go and get this beautiful goat milk from you.
No, there's no. This is an education purpose for this, but you can become a part of different clubs, and which there's shared through these, organizations, volunteer with different organizations that we work with, whether it be a Slow Food, Very Good Food Foundation, Queso Diego. There's a lot of great outlets for that. And, we as, just like Liberty Station, where we do the whole experience, we bring the animals down there.
Yeah.
We want people to see. And it's not, we don't expect everyone to go home and, become a great cheesemaker, but we want you to be thoughtful when you pick up, a piece of cheese and this, there's a lot that went in there. An interesting fact, it takes about, when you think about the transfers of energy, a goat to produce 1 gallon of milk, and when she's full grown, she'll probably produce about close to 2 gallons of milk a day.
Okay.
Or about 16 plus pounds. She will have to pump 500 gallons of blood through her udder.
That's
just
crazy.
To make 1 gallon of milk.
That's crazy.
So,
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and you think of how efficient she is, though, too, with the amount of water and high quality forage she'll intake to do that. She is a pretty green machine.
That's so interesting.
So those little I think when people learn these little facts and stuff, it starts to engage them, and people are doing such a great job with recycling and other green products, and it's like, let's try and stay as far away from things wrapped in cardboard and polypropylene.
Exactly.
And just
weird ingredients on the label.
Yeah, let's eat real food.
Right, I totally agree with that. Back to that milk, because that's fascinating with the blood pumping. But you talk about her doing 2 gallons of milk, say, a day.
Right.
How much cheese would that make? Like, how much of a fresh Chevre that everyone's familiar with from the goats would those 2 gallons make?
Probably close to about 2.5 pounds.
Okay.
But then we take that whey that's left out of there, and it's being used to feed chickens and pigs.
That's so super too.
Yeah.
Because you do it all. Turkeys, I know.
Everything.
This is all this kind. That's what a farm is. It's that balance between them all, right?
And it's a really and it constantly changes. Because you're learning and you're fine tuning as you go. As
you
well.
go. Yeah. So we've got goats today, but I understand you also have sheep and cow, or you work with them.
We have sheep, and it's the only really kind of herd of sheep. And we share it between a few of us, and exponentially the numbers grow.
Yeah.
We have these guys. So it's, I think, the only real herd south of the Central Coast.
That is awesome. And is there a person could come and see those, or really just watch for where they might go? And
we're working on setting it up at Staley Farms right now, where we'll actually have farm days where people can come out and meet, and we want to get people more hands-on, not just here's the milk, here's the cheese, but kind of learning of the whole process.
Yeah, it would be so neat to see it from point A, the milking of the animal, to point D, Z, this finished product like you have today.
So, and we've done so with the leftover whey. We have a pig program, and right now Joe from Cucina Urbana has made some beautiful charcuterie, and then they share that too forward at different events.
Which is kind of ancient tradition. That harkens back to the Italians who have done that forever with their Parmigiano and prosciutto, right? Hand in hand. And what Jack's talking about is taking the byproduct, the leftover, the waste of cheese making, and turning it into food for another creature that becomes food. It's just it is that cycle of life.
Exactly. It's so important, and it also goes back to where food is always community. And if you're going to grow something or raise something or make something, you're going to share it.
Share it, exactly.
And that's important. And that's kind of it helps as a cultural restoration, I think, for us, where we get so busy and we always want things just a thumb click away.
Yes,
and
bring it to my door.
Exactly. And we need more hands-on. It's good to get a little dirt under your fingernails here and there.
Yeah.
And have those experiences.
I think that would be great. I know that I'm sure you do a lot with kids who could have a day on the farm or something like that. Is there any sorts of adult camp, like a day on the farm?
We don't have anything like that. But Barry, we're always we're really geared up, and we're trying to do more and more, and we are getting a really talented group of individuals. So we would like to do kind of maybe a farm camp for adults or something.
It'd be really interesting.
Yeah. We always have to be. It's a fine line because of there's really strict labor laws in regards to farming and who can do what, and so we always have to be very attentive to those things, so not to get in trouble. But we'll work it out.
Yeah, work it out. That would be really, really interesting, I think. Super. Tell us a little bit more about Very Good Food Foundation, because you work with them. I know we've done a couple events, and it's real interesting. And
they're
I
a unique organization. The founder, Michelle Larac, started it. I think officially, I think it's a little over 2 years old, but it came from Very Good Night. And Very Good Food Foundation does everything from scholarshiping young farmers.
Okay.
Last year, they gave out $4,000, and even in those scholarships that they gave to the kids, they gave money for those kids to mentor other kids.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And that was done in association with the San Diego Food and Wine by the Bay Festival. They're helping with school gardens.
Yeah.
We help out different chef culinary students.
Okay.
We have a program going right now for this the last 2 semesters at Mesa College, where we actually help to put them in a garden at their new teaching.
Oh, nice.
And then we also, every month, we bring in a chef and a farmer or a fisherman.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
That's been the next month. We're doing Brad from Trust, and he's doing a lamb. So it's we're constantly, like, as a young organization, we're just getting more and more programs going
together. This is good.
So here with those, we're going to do a cheese making here at Specialty.
Yes. This is April 22nd.
Right.
I believe.
We're going to do a series throughout the summer, and then we'll have added classes. So the first one on April 22nd, we'll have an introductory to cheese making. And then the second class that day will be a bread making, which you can, if you're watching us Facebook Live, you can see these beautiful breads that Christina Ng made.
Again, this is the real deal.
Right. Yeah,
this is what bread should look like.
It is. I wouldn't do it justice to describe it, but I will tell you that Christina sources the grains locally from California, as local as grains can be. We don't have the water or the rainfall here to do that. And so she's actually buying whole grains. Very Good Food Foundation bought a stone mill a couple of years ago. So she's actually buying the whole grains, milling it, and making this bread. And it's another pay it forward. Check the Very Good Food website. We're going to add a grain pop-up dinner with Whisk and Ladle Katana, I think next month when Vince Schofield comes back. And it's, again, these are great ways to educate people that flour is not bad. Our grains aren't bad. It's just the right kind of one. And these are all naturally fermented as well. So it's good stuff.
Oh, that is good stuff. Well, we got to taste some of this good stuff. And look at her eat.
Drink. She's belly up to the bar.
She is belly up to the bar. Wait, now how much would she drink, or how much does she drink in a given day?
Right now, she's drinking about 40 ounces a day, and she's also, she's eating a high quality forage as well. But if we let her, she would just
keep going and going and going.
She would keep going. She is.
What about that whole thing about just because we're talking about goats eating, where some cities are using the goats to clear land and kind of stuff.
And that's a different type of thing. Those aren't dairy goats. Because her milk profile is going to relate to when she grows up directly as to what she eats.
Of course.
So if they're eating scrub brush and all sorts of different things like that, you're going to kind of
affect it.
Yeah, and you in order to create all of this milk, they need a different diet than, say, those are the Boer goats, who are
Boer goats.
Yeah, and they are a meat goat, and they're they are different efficiency. Like, these are alpine goats, Saanen.
The Saanen.
And so the Boer goats originated in South Africa, and they're a learn more scrappy. And
these are the ones that will eat everything, anything, clear the land, that kind of thing. Right. The Boer goat.
Yep.
I learn something every day.
Yeah.
So we got to talk, because I'm dying to try some of these cheeses, Jack.
Dig in there.
Because you brought up the point of what they eat's going to affect the milk. We, in the spring, get this cheese from France called Rove de Garrigue. And the goats literally just graze, I think, almost exclusively on rosemary bushes.
Right.
And no lie, this is just a fresh ball of Chevre that comes to us. It hasn't been tampered with or anything else. It's like you're eating rosemary milk.
Right.
Because that's what the animals have eaten, and it's pure rosemary, and that's just
very
crazy.
Herbaceous,
but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. So the cheeses that we have today, what have they been eating? Mostly milk? they also eat rosemary. What other things do they typically
They
eat?
eat a lot of different herbs.
Okay.
BY's Ranch gives us a lot of different herbs and greens.
Yeah.
That's part of there.
Okay.
And the forage they eat changes throughout the year.
Sure.
So right now, because of the babies, etc., we have them on an alfalfa. And then as the summer goes through, we'll go to like a 5-way of field hay that's a nice blend.
Yeah.
Which will change the milk to kind of a more grassier thing. This year, because we didn't get the rainfall we had, we don't have as much like wild fennel, celery, and the sunflower that becomes a part of their diet. So that's being supplemented, like the black sunflower, which will boost their fat.
Okay.
And the milk on there, and you'll taste it when you taste the cheese.
And can you taste that difference, like seasonally? Do you think in the milk and what the batches taste like? We're gonna start with. I'm gonna point. Where did my knife go?
So
okay, the freshest one, the fresh.
The Chevre, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was actually made by a very good food volunteer, Sadie Steinke, and it's in some of Temecula olive oil's beautiful lemon.
We're lucky to have them here, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's an amazing farmer and artisan. So that's.
And when was this made, Jack?
Yesterday.
This is made yesterday. Oh my gosh, it is so soft. And in that olive oil, may I?
Yeah, please.
Do you want some?
I'm good.
You're good. You're eating cheese all day, and your hands are full. Okay, don't mind me while I do. Tell us about the making of this fresh Chevre, because is this what will be demonstrated on the 22nd?
So we're going to start off with mesophilic cheeses, which is the culture within the cheese. And cheese making is really divided up between two types of cultures, mesophilic and thermophilic, and it's really about temperature. So the mesophilic are the lower temperature, and they're the soft. They're not the pressed cheeses. Are the bloomy cheeses. And it goes all the way from the fresh, soft, and even like the blue cheese styles are also like a gorgonzola is made with a mesophilic as well. You can mix some of that culture in there, but it's a softer type of cheese on there. So basically what we do is the milk is vat pasteurized, so we bring it up to 142 and then quickly bring it back down to the temperature, and I think she probably did that at about 86 degrees. She added the culture. She let the milk sit, and that kind of bouquet kind of goes. And then about 30 minutes to an hour later, added the rennet, which is the enzyme that creates the curd, and let that curd set for 18 to 24 hours. We set it a little bit longer. And it kind of gives us a thicker, creamier...
it's really creamy.
Yeah.
It's not as crumbly. It's very creamy.
Right. And that's, again, how much whey you're going to drain out of it, and you can do less or more in there. And it's lightly salted, and that's really the only. It's just that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's easy.
So about a 2-day process to make something like this. And how long will those keep in the oil like that?
Well, covered in the oil, it can be indefinite because, as you know, like in Europe, and especially like in small villages, there's such a sense of pride of their olive oil. And with any fat, just with any fat, it doesn't just have to be olive oil. Is how they've been, saving. Preserving food forever and ever and ever.
Completely natural way.
Right. So and the longer it sits in the oil, the more it'll draw that oil to the center, and it'll just become like butter. One of our, we don't have any today, but we do feta. So it'll stay we'll make the feta, it'll stay in the brine for 3 weeks to a month. Yeah. We take it out, and we'll put it in the olive oil. And it just becomes this creamy, like...
delightful thing.
It's crazy.
Do you do goat and sheep fetas?
Yes.
A blend, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, so super nice. Hello, you're talked.
I don't really blend the milks. So we'll do a sheep feta or goat feta. It just depends on the availability of that. The sheep make a lot less milk, but it's a lot richer milk. Just the values... by the solids and the fat on it on sheep's milk is about 23%, where goat milk is about 13% and cow is about 8%. The fat in sheep's milk is about 13%, plus or minus depending on their diet. So that's more than double of goat and almost triple, quadruple of cow.
Yeah, that's something interesting to know. And I guess that's if you're ever at a store, you notice like pecorinos or manchegos, they get very oily. Because the milk is so much richer in fats.
And when you make the sheep cheese, you'll see that oil in the
see the oil.
Way.
We have a sheep today, right? A sheep.
We
have
yogurt,
a sheep
cheese that's just starting its bloom over there. That herby.
The one in front.
Yeah, the one in front is this, and it's still blooming. It'll be very fresh. But in about 2-3 weeks, when it would be finished, it would have this just beautiful kind of gelatinous interior with this, center and so that having the geotachrum and the Penicillium candidum, it pulls all of that bouquet into the cheese, just like the salt to the center.
Oh, that's crazy. So is this going to get bloomy like the ones that
Correct.
we see up front?
And so you would almost the whole herbiness would disappear by sight, but it would be in the rind.
And just buried underneath there.
But just taking all of those flavors in through there.
And kind of sucking it in.
Yeah, so we have a mixture of different herbs, pink peppercorns, juniper.
Which are so prevalent, the peppercorns around here. You see the peppercorn trees, right? Yeah.
Well, and so that's what we did with the goat cheese there, is we've actually taken the leaves of the pepper tree, and it's right it grows into the rind.
I don't want to mess it up.
And I hope you cut into it and taste it.
It's too beautiful to touch, but
but this is a really fun thing. 2 years ago, the French Master Chef Congress was here in San Diego, and Patrick hosted them. And
nice.
We made these cheeses, and the president of the Congress, Christian, he was really surprised that he was like, how did you learn to make French cheeses? And, I just said that it was an inspiration, just like how not using the sense of terroir, like farmed, not just throwing it out there as a blanket, but it's really about the area, the socioeconomic, the need, and all those things. And so we had this cheese, and then we had the rind cheeses, but we'd actually put them in Tom Curry's, the Temecula olive oil, and his blood orange.
Oh. Now I think that's an underrated and unknown fact that those citrus with the cheeses is fabulous.
Yeah, so
right?
it was,
and
so we had that little bit of pepperness and that bouquet in there, and the rindness, and it was really just he smiled. It's a good thing he had ears, or his head would have flipped off. So big, and he said, he banged his fist on the table and he said, "Best food experience outside of France."
Perfect. He's got to stick with his home team.
So I'll take that any day. So
yeah. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. Tell us then about the little discs. We've got the heart shaped and then the little round.
We have some. They're kind of like a croton, the little round ones there in the front.
Okay.
And they're a little bloomy one. And those were actually going to, for Easter. I just saw this on the California Artisan Cheese Guild, where they actually had put some sugar on top of it and did
and the brulee.
Yeah, and so
That's
we're going to
really
take
tasty.
this. We're going to take Tom's pomegranate vinegar that he makes and make a glaze with it and do those on top of it, and I'll let you know if it turns out okay.
And that's a good thing of terroir, because pomegranates are indigenous here.
And that's what we're trying. And
right?
That's another thing, just in these little things, like teaching people that you don't need 20 ingredients, or you don't need these things. Like a few fresh things makes all the difference.
Right, because how many ingredients then would you call in any of these cheeses, really, aside from the oil, like just the cheese itself?
It's milk and the culture and the enzyme.
That's it.
That's it, and a little bit of salt. Cause,
that's crazy.
And that's how you preserve. Anything is salt, moisture, and time.
Sure.
On there, whether you're curing meat or cheese or something, and that's another thing of teaching people, like, it's not. Don't be scared to do, when you have these high lactic acid, you won't get these other bad toxins in there.
Okay.
Because they can't live within them.
Right.
And they eat and the lactic acid is eating the different bacteria and sugars that they would need to survive.
It's just great. That's nature.
Exactly. Again,
nature at its finest. Tell us, the little cretin, how long has this been?
That one is still young.
Sitting around, yeah.
That's only about 9 days old.
9 days.
It'll get a really ripe, runniness to it on the inside of it.
Yeah. It's really just soft. It's pillowy. I would say it's
Wait
just
till
like
you
a little pillow. Okay.
When you pop it in your mouth, the taste is gonna.
That's pure. That's so pure. Purist would say this is awesome, right? Yeah. You're just tasting the milk. I like the texture of the rind. There's that textural difference.
It's still
from the interior,
soft and
very soft.
And again,
still.
when you're doing this, these aren't being made to ship, or this is really just being made to like share with your family, friends, or whatever. It's a completely different than something that would have to be for a commercial aspect of it.
Exactly, but I tell you, that tastes every bit as good as the ones we have in France. You know, we've had in France and that we bring from France.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
you guys
got
have
them.
amazing cheeses. I mean, if you're not
just
going to
never
make
ends.
your cheese, I'm going to go
Yeah.
to Venezimo
and buy some cheese.
Yeah. And learn something about cheese when I go there myself.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Just all the differences.
I have no idea how you guys collect all of these different cheeses from artisans.
Oh my God, we've had 2,000, Jack, in history. 2,000 different cheeses. If you can believe there can be so many variations on something that has so few ingredients, right? But it's like wine. You have all these variations based on age,
culture,
oak,
where it comes from,
yeah,
etc. That's
stainless
amazing.
oak, this, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with cheese. They are so go hand in hand. Yeah,
Amazing.
Do you dabble into that as well, wine and beer making?
No,
no, you sticking with the
we also through Very Good Food Foundation will teach different food preservation classes. Some people call them the granny skills or whatever. But these are things that also too that are getting we're getting 2 and 3 generations removed.
I know, that's so sad.
Yeah, and
right?
that's actually how I first met Danielle. She came to our tomato preservation class.
Vegan Danielle came to tomatoes.
As I remember, her fiance came in kicking, screaming. Like he didn't want to. I think football was on or something. He was
like, no.
He was like, no. But I will tell you. And as I showed the example of the class, he did something completely off the charts. He did center slices, and he did his tomatoes and onions and garlic, and he created this beautiful stack inside the jar. And it was really
cool.
I was like, wow, this guy is, he found his happy place. This is a really good thing. And I believe he had a good time. So we'll have to do that again. But so
he's picked up this granny skill and modernized it to today.
Yeah,
right?
But just his, he did it in a very artistic, creative way. So it was kind of fun to see that. But
that is super cool. Are you finding more men and women going into this preservation and the making and the
I think there's a lot of people that are really interested. A lot more people are. The whole local food movement and just the last 5 years, let alone the 10 years, has just. I mean, there's
crazy.
So much progress being made, and everyone is just doing an amazing job. On there. There's always room for more growth, but it's just. There's a lot of interest, and the great thing is there's a lot of knowledge, and people have access to where to find these things, and that's the great thing. And then it's just giving them the confidence with the hands-on, or showing them. But it's also teaching them you can't do that cold pack, that French method of jarring tomatoes. You can't just go to any grocery store and buy tomatoes from wherever they came from. You need to either grow them, or they have to come from a farmer's market or a place like Specialty where you can smell the summer, because that's what you're putting in the jar to preserve it. And that's a really important thing to teach people when you're making these things. You're just not going to go get
any
a commodity,
tomato,
anything, and put it, whether it's pickling or any fermentation or something. You really want to start with the best
of
ingredients.
The first ingredient. Yeah. And isn't that with the vegetables, and not to go to all, just like the milk, you can smell it, you can taste it, it's going to be good if it starts with good milk. You smell a vegetable or a fruit, you know if that's right. I mean, if there's no smell, which typically there's no smell, then how can that be good? Even put into the jar, why even bother?
Exactly.
Yeah, so good. One last thing too, I forgot the yogurt. Tell us the difference what makes the difference between the cheese and the yogurt?
It's a method of how you're doing it, and this is a thermophilic because it's cooked at a higher temperature.
Okay.
So we actually bring we want to the casein in there. We want to actually stretch it, so we'll bring it up to a temperature of about 180, which will help to thicken it and get it longer. And then we'll bring that back down to about 112. And then you can buy a yogurt maker and all this stuff, but
but you don't need to, right?
No, what I basically do is use about a 40-quart ice chest, and after I've set the culture and have it all ready, I'll put 120-degree temperature water in the ice chest, the same level as the milk in there, and set it in there. I have a lid on it. Close the lid on the ice chest. It sets for about 18 hours, and this has not been hung. There's no salt added to it. Nothing.
Nothing.
It's just milk and culture.
That's it, and it just been setting. You didn't have to go through anything fancier than that. I mean, a little time.
A little time. And then once you start yogurt and you get good at it, you can then just keep taking your culture from yogurt to yogurt to yogurt.
Is that like sourdough, like a person does with their sourdough?
Exactly.
That's so sweet and good. There's nothing else in there.
There's not even any salt to brighten it up. It is just pure and simple. So
I can't even describe that. And the sheep, the combination, yeah, that's yogurt.
Yeah, real yogurt.
Because I don't know, I get really angry looking at yogurt. If you look at the labels, how much sugar is in this healthy food of yogurt? Well, oh my, it's shocking to me. So this tastes sweet though. I mean, it's sweet to me and tart.
The fat is there, and that the culture that I originally started with gives it that nice sour. And if we were to drain it or hang it, so more whey would release out of it, it will get thicker and thicker, and it'll have a higher sour to it as there.
Yeah, that's just phenomenal. Now that would make me eat yogurt more.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to enjoy that. So I have a friend that's a farmer as well, Sandra from Be Wise, and with her strawberries,
just phenomenal.
Yeah.
All good stuff. And the bread again, tell us who bakes that, because that is fabulous.
Christina Ng has been working with Very Good Food Foundation for several years now. We acquired a stone mill. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. And so she actually sources the whole grains through the California Grain Coalition, and some from Hayden Farms in Arizona, which are heirloom. We get this purple rye from them.
Oh, nice. We get crackers from them. They're very good too.
Really, she's really put a lot of time. Christina's not only this really brilliant chef, but she has a degree in food science from UC Davis.
And art. That's beautiful.
I mean, and I think her first loaf of bread turned out like that, maybe too, or something. I don't know. She's just
that's a talent.
I don't have. She's so talented, and she has such an amazing stewardship also too for all living things in the earth. So there's just it's just woven into that. She just recently came back from Italy and toured all the grain fields of Tuscany, and she showed me this picture. I think the one stone mill was I think it was 7 AD, or I mean, just amazing, stuff. How functional things still are today that were made 1,000
years ago.
2,000 years
exactly.
ago. So
you can't. Some things don't need to be changed. Some things are perfect as they were.
Right. Or put in a box.
Or put in a box. Or wrapped in plastic. Or preserved with some weird preservative. Yeah. Right. This is so.
Yeah. It doesn't need a lot of salt, sugar. Corn, something.
So real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And grains can be not all flour and grain are bad.
What is this with the fear of flour? Where did this come from?
When you're buying a processed bread that hasn't been naturally fermented, you're going to run into all sorts of.
Okay.
I think your body doesn't. When you have something like that, your body doesn't recognize whether it's a Snickers bar or a piece of Wonder Bread.
That's sad. Yeah. I mean. It's too good to be true.
So she'll be teaching that bread class after the cheese class same day.
Yeah, because we're going to do, as Jack said, a series, and we're going to get this on the Studio Kitchens. It's the new Studio Kitchen SP, I think, website for Specialty Produce's new Studio Kitchen, which I've been to 2 events in this venue. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, there's nothing like it.
It's, such about education. And that's another thing, that collaboration. You're talking about community, Jack. You being here, sharing this with us, bringing our goats to Specialty, who shares with everybody, collaborates with the fish people, the Catalinas of the world, the Venissimos of the world, the bread of the world. I mean, and everyone's pulling together to show that, hey, here in San Diego, we've got some really amazing foods.
It's an amazing community.
Right.
And we're all learning from each other all the time and sharing, and I think that's the beautiful thing. And Roger, the owner of Specialty, he's such a great role model. He has amazing energy. So it's easy to catch some of that and work with it as well. And he's just unbelievably generous.
Yeah, unbelievably generous. Yeah, respectful, everything. It's just really great. It's so fun to be part of that business. So we hope everyone can check out. It'll be on the calendar, and I think we've got it on the screen for Specialty Produce in April. April 22nd is the date of the first one. Like you said, we'll have cheese making. Of course, we're going to eat a lot of cheese. Jack's going to show the secrets of doing this at home. I'm going to share some of the stories and some other cheeses. We might do some side-by-sides, and you can say, hey, this one's this old, this one's this old, this one's from France, this one's from here, which is which. Maybe we'll do some blind stuff, too. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, no, we have lots of great conversations. And there's
a discussion.
It's definitely worth showing up for. And they're super affordable. They're $25.
That's so perfect. Where could you get all this real good stuff and education for $25 on a Sunday?
And all the
afternoon. How
proceeds
nice.
go to Very Good Food Foundation to continue education.
Yeah, check them out as well, you guys. It's a great local resource. And we're going to say thanks to Vinnie, who's seriously hungry. Give some more milk. Seriously,
she has a hollow leg when it comes to drinking milk.
Yeah, and I'm hungry for all the rest of this. I might just sit here and chow down on here. But thank you all for tuning in. Yeah. Hope to see you at Specialty Produce Kitchen. And thanks from Vinissimo, noon on Tuesday. Thanks, Jack, for coming down.
My pleasure.
And see you again soon.
Great.
All right, cheers. Ciao, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jack, for coming down. And see you again soon.